Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be doing something I should have done a long time ago on this car, guys, and that is swapping out these exhaust tips, these OEM exhaust tips that came on this 435 for ones that are a lot nicer. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So like I was saying, we're going to be swapping out the exhaust tips on this 435. And now originally I only have the OEM ones, which they look okay. They're not the best looking in my opinion, but we're going to be swapping them out for these much nicer Burger Motorsports exhaust tips. Now if you guys haven't seen these before, these are a beautiful like satin black. They are super thick and they also have like an angular cut like that, if you guys can see. They do make these exhaust tips in a polished finish as well, so if that's more your style, definitely feel free to go for it. I personally really like this satin black. I think it's beautiful and I think it's what most people are gonna get. And if you guys saw in one of my more recent videos, I actually installed this M Performance style real carbon fiber diffuser on the 435. This thing looks super good on the car, guys. You guys know I love carbon fiber, but I didn't want too much carbon fiber. I know a lot of people do like an M Performance carbon fiber exhaust tip and those look fine, but I personally like the clean look of this exhaust tip. I also think this is gonna look really good with the carbon fiber. I think carbon on carbon is a little too much for my taste, but the carbon with this satin black, I think that's gonna look amazing together. And just overall, it's gonna be a huge improvement over these ones. Now, if you guys can tell, these ones are super dirty. That's because I don't really spend too much time cleaning them. I never really cared for them. I never really gave them the attention that they probably deserve. But these ones, you guys already know, I'm definitely gonna keep these clean and looking on point. So now to actually do this job, it's pretty easy, guys. What you need is a rubber mallet like this one, or if you don't have a rubber mallet and you just have a normal hammer, you can use that with like a block of wood so you don't damage the current exhaust tip. So we're literally gonna go behind the OEM exhaust tip and just like hammer it out. It's that easy. It might take some time, so just be patient with it, but that's pretty much all it takes to take it off. But once the OEM ones are off, we can go ahead and slide on the BMS ones. These will literally just slide on, and if you guys can tell, there's some spots for screws right in here, so they do give you 4 in total, so 2 on each exhaust tip. So after you slide these ones on, you put in those screws, and that basically like locks them down and makes sure that they don't go anywhere, which is obviously super important. You don't want to lose these exhaust tips. I'm hoping the current exhaust tips aren't like seized on there. I am in New York and I do drive this car year round for the most part, but we'll see how that goes. But with that said, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the installation. So as you guys saw from that clip, that one came off super easy, which was nice. This one's giving me a little more trouble, but since it is, let me just take this opportunity to tell you guys a couple things. So when trying to hammer this thing out, you want to hit it like right over here. You guys can actually see where the exhaust tip separates from the actual exhaust piping or whatever you want to call it. So I'm of course taking my rubber mallet and just hitting it like that. When hitting it, you want to make sure that you're hitting it straight. And what I mean by that is like you don't want to hit it just on one side, so the exhaust tip starts to like turn to one side and it kind of gets stuck or damages the piping over here. Like I said in the beginning, a rubber mallet is probably best and easiest, but if you don't have a rubber mallet on hand, take like a block of wood, place it on the exhaust tip right here, and then hammer the block of wood, because this thing is pretty thin and with just a normal hammer you can definitely damage it. But again, just get a rubber mallet. I think it's just the easiest thing. You can get them from like Home Depot, Lowe's, or even Amazon. And then lastly, guys, if it is giving you trouble, consider maybe putting some like WD-40 inside here, just to kind of lubricate it a little bit. Yeah, anyways, just a few tips and tricks. But yeah, with that said, let me just get back to it and see if we can take this off. Alright, so that actually wasn't too bad, just a few more hits and it came right off. So that's probably already like at the end of it and I just gave up, but yeah, it really wasn't too bad, guys, which I'm pretty surprised about, because again, I live in New York where this car goes through a whole bunch of snow, a whole bunch of rain. There's so many things seized on this car, so I was kind of assuming the exhaust tips would be seized too, but if they weren't on my car, I'm sure your car will be just fine. But yeah, anyways, now that these are off, we can probably do like a quick side-by-side comparison. So it might be tough to keep these things standing up, but if I can just do like that, you guys can see just how much thicker the BMS exhaust tips are. Just overall, they look way better, but just the fact that they're thicker, I think is going to make it look even better as well, because it's going to fill in the cutout on the diffuser a lot more, so it's going to look a lot more aggressive in my opinion. And like I mentioned before, guys, this one is flat, whereas these ones have an angular cut, which just gives them a lot more character. and a lot more aggression. So yeah, definitely a huge improvement. By the way, guys, if you want these, I will leave some links down in the description below. All right, so now to install the new exhaust tips, it's as simple as sliding these things on, and then we're gonna take these screws that BMS gives us and screw these on to basically lock the exhaust tip in. I believe these are 4mm Allens, but I will confirm the size with you guys later on. Now, before sliding on the new exhaust tip, it's probably a good idea to clean your exhaust piping. So I'll probably just take a rag off camera, clean it really quickly, nothing too crazy, and then we should be able to slide this thing right on. Alright guys, so just like that, the first one is complete. It is officially installed, and just right off the bat, look how good this thing looks. Like, look how much it fills up the diffuser cutout, how much it protrudes. Like, this thing just looks way more aggressive. It looks way better. But yeah guys, so like I was saying before, this thing literally just slid right on. Now once you slide it on, you will feel it wiggle, sort of like this left side that I just slid in. If you guys can see, and you can probably even hear, it kind of wiggles around. So then that's what these screws are for. So there's two that go on either side of the exhaust tip. These are 4mm Allens. So once you put these in and you tighten these down, the exhaust tip will be a lot more stable. So as you can see, this thing is definitely not going anywhere. But on the left side where I didn't put the screws yet, as you can see, it can easily slide out. It can easily wiggle around. So make sure you guys do not forget those screws. So now, besides the fact that these exhaust tips look amazing in my opinion, and just like everything else that Burger Motorsports make, they are super high quality. Something that's really nice about them that you guys probably didn't even consider, like I didn't consider at first, is they do not use clamps. So like I was saying, those screws are what holds down the exhaust tip, and they are basically invisible to the eye. When you screw them in, they kind of tuck away with the exhaust tip, whereas a lot of exhaust tips, when you get them, they have like these big clamps that you tighten down to hold them down to make sure they don't go anywhere. Now, it's not too bad and it's not too noticeable, but the fact that you can't see anything even when you go underneath this exhaust tip, I think says a lot. The only thing you can see is that screw hole right there, but that's it guys. That definitely beats having like a big ugly clamp right over here. This thing just looks so sleek and so clean. You can tell BMS put a lot of thought into these exhaust tips. And yeah, just overall guys, I think they look absolutely amazing. Now I know this is something that maybe if you take a step back, you're not gonna notice right away, but it's just one of those details that looks so good on the car. I personally love it, especially combined with the carbon fiber diffuser. Again, I think just for me and my taste, carbon on carbon would have been a little too much, but this satin black on the carbon fiber I think is perfect. Like, just look at this angle right here. The fact that it protrudes more than the OEM ones, that it's angular cut, I think it just flows so well with the M Performance style diffuser. You don't even need a carbon fiber diffuser for this. You really don't need any diffuser for this to look good, but I just think these two complement each other so well. Yeah guys, I am super happy with the way that these came out. All right, so I went ahead and tightened up the other side off camera because I figured you guys wouldn't want to see that again. So now I'm all set. These things are installed. That was super easy, super quick. It was actually super easy to knock off the original exhaust tips, and it was even easier to slide on the new ones. So again, if you guys want some for yourselves, links down in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this video or if you found it helpful or entertaining, please drop it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And yeah guys, with that said, this video is done and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.